I, 27M, hurt the feelings of my girlfriend's 28F sister, 21F, while I was performing stand-up. Now my girlfriend won't talk to me. I'm a somewhat successful 27-year-old comic working my way up in the comedy scene in the city I'm living in. I'm dating a 28-year-old woman from here, and she is very supportive of my career, as I am with hers. She has a 21-year-old little sister that I think is a spoiled sorority brat, but I very rarely see her, so I pay her very little mind. Just the other night, I was performing at a comedy club, and my girlfriend was coming to watch me perform. The night before the show, she informed me that her little sister was coming to the show with some friends. To me, this news was a possible red flag. To give some background, my girlfriend comes from a pretty affluent background where ritzy vacations and luxuries were the norm, whereas I come from quite the opposite. I come from a large family where we had to wear the busted pair of shoes for a little bit longer until the money was finally scraped together. For a lot of people, this difference could be a little intimidating, but it's never been a big issue. She is very level-headed, works hard, and never looks down on others not as fortunate as her or her family. Her sister, on the other hand, is quite the opposite. She goes to a university that is completely paid for, has all the niceties, and lets you know when you don't. She can get rude with people quite easily, especially when she's dealing with someone working a low-pay job or someone that she views as lower in status. Now, I've only acted as a silent observer to her behavior because I've only seen her a handful of times, and I quite frankly didn't want to deal with her. When my girlfriend told me she was coming to watch me perform, I grew pretty alarmed. The people that I work with, and most of the comedy crowd for that matter, is a pretty working-class group of people. They deal with hard truths and can laugh when they are made fun of. Whenever my girlfriend's sister gets put in similar situations, she definitely does not have the same reaction. In fact, she handles it just about as well as Vince Wilfork finding out the buffet closed. I also went with her and my girlfriend to a small concert at a bar, and she was rude and disrespectful to the performers the whole time. I told my girlfriend my concerns about her sister coming. She wouldn't enjoy herself. She would make a scene, or she would interrupt another comic's set, the ultimate sin. My girlfriend said it wouldn't be a problem. I buckled and said that she could come, but I would not be held liable for whatever happened in the club. I tend to be playful when shutting down hecklers, but I know the 3 other comics performing, and they are definitely not. I have a 3-strike rule, but they swing like goddamned Sammy Sosa on the first pitch. She agreed, and that was that until the next day. We met the sister and friends beforehand, and went to the club. The first comic was a lady I know, and she was spot on that night. She's by no means a pretty woman, so the girls started making sly comments to each other about it until I told them to cut it out, which they did. I then went backstage to the green room, but from the little bits I saw and heard, they were on fairly good behavior. Then my set happened. My first 6 or 7 minutes started out really well. The crowd was great, and I felt in the zone. I then started working through a bit about North Face being tacky, and this proved to be the catalyst for the sister and her friends. They started talking loudly in the back, to which I told them to stop. I looked to my girlfriend to corral them in and provide some silent reinforcements. Those reinforcements never came. About 2 minutes later, I was working through a piece about being hairy, to which the sister made a comment. At this point, I noticed she and her friends had put down quite a few drinky poos, so basically I started making fun of them being sloppy drunks. This shut them up for a little bit. I then had a piece about my mom, to which the little sister basically made a loud comment about my mom being a slut. She threw a third pitch, and I choked up on the bat, and began to swing away like Joaquin Phoenix in a room full of Marvin the Martians. I called her out for being a petulant rich girl, made fun of her appearance, and ended up calling her cunt-druncula. The crowd was really into it, so I was eventually able to cut off the set with some grace, but I was livid. When the crowd left and the lights went up, the sister came up to me and started getting in my face. I walked back into a green room and asked the bouncer to take care of it, and she eventually left with her friends. As I saw my girlfriend afterwards, she seemed a little upset. I told her that I was furious, that she didn't help me out with controlling her sister. She asked why I was so upset whenever the set went so well. I think there was a little passive aggression in the question. I told her that even though that set went well, if a heckler catches me on a night where I'm not on my game, it fucks my entire performance. We eventually cut the conversation and drove home. The next day, my girlfriend's sister left a message for my girlfriend in tears about how the night went. She was upset at the things I said and wanted an apology. I told my girlfriend that was not going to happen, and I deserved an apology. Even though the sister doesn't view what I do as a job, that is my livelihood. If I pulled a similarly disruptive stunt in someone else's place of work, I would most likely be arrested. My girlfriend did not take to this well, and hasn't talked to me for the last 2 days, besides small talk at dinner. I think she may be upset about the rich girl comments I made to her sister. To be honest, I do get a little resentful when I hear the stories of my girlfriend's life of affluence growing up. But I never bring this up, and I never try to make her feel pity for the way I grew up. My question is, what should be the next course of action? I refuse to even look at her sister until she brings an apology with her. But I love my girlfriend, and not talking to her is killing me. How should I handle this nightmare of a situation? TLDR. Girlfriend's sister heckled me while I was performing stand-up. I went nuclear on her ass. And now girlfriend won't speak to me. Edit. I'm sitting down this afternoon to talk to my girlfriend about the whole thing when she gets back from lunch. Her tone seemed fairly neutral on the phone, so I'm just playing it by ear until then. Let's move on to some comments. Salt Pile says, people not talking to people, people refusing to even look at people. My advice is extremely simple. You and your GF need to learn to communicate directly and honestly without passive-aggressive silent treatment. I know you can't control what your GF does, but you can control how you react. Don't play these games. Ka43 says, I get the feeling by the way you talk about her sister that there was a lot of bad blood between you two before this night ever happened. Everything you said about her showed just how much you don't like her and resent the fact that she grew up rich. I can bet that your feelings for her are well known to her and your GF. Chili_bean says, I love stand-up. And yes, if a comedian is being heckled, you will get destroyed in a lot of instances. I see your point. You told her your concerns and exactly what will happen if that behavior is shown. You gave her 3 chances like you said. Just talk to your lady and let her know this. Not in I'm right and she's wrong, but in I know this situation is poop. I want to fix it. But your sister did exactly what I was afraid she was going to do. And I do feel I need an apology first. And I would hope if her sister apologizes you do too, even though I don't think you need to. Just try to keep the peace. Sorry, dude. Being a comedian is tough. People expect to make you laugh until it's about them. Oh, and if it does end up being a deeper insecurity about how you view her, your girlfriend, she'll need reassurance. Ensure you're aware though, smiley face. Spectrum 2081 says, honestly, it sounds like you took it too far and you know it. You go out of your way here to really explain what a bad person this girl is and how rich and entitled she is because you ripped her apart in public. I get that she's unpleasant. I get that she was drunk and disruptive. I get that this is your livelihood. But she is not the first person to drunkenly heckle you, and likely not even the worst. It sounds like you resent the hell out of her and used your position on stage to let her have it. I am not saying your girlfriend or her sister are innocent in all this. Hell, if any of the other comics had ripped into her, I would say she deserved it. But this may be your future sister-in-law. You should have pulled your punches. Now it's time to choose your relationship or your pride. I am going to turn this to you, Guy. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends. The more people we can reach with these captivating tales, the better. I can't wait to see you all in the next episode, where we'll dive into another mind-bending, thought-provoking story from the depths of Reddit. Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep spreading the love for these incredible narratives. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart. You all are the real heroes of this journey. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.